What's the dumbest myth people today believe? My dad had this guy helping him out, think big box store DIY curb-ready helper, who told him, if you sleep with your hair wet, you will bleed out of your mouth, and he was 110% sure that was fact. We were both just confused and bewildered at this statement. What the hell had this guy witnessed? Completely unrelated, but I had somebody tell me that it was really windy the other day, because there was a meteor that passed close to Earth. There are dumber ones out there, but the one I, as an estate lawyer, deal with constantly is the idea that there needs to be a reading of the will, where the family all gather and the lawyer reads it aloud to them for the first time. We don't do that. We just mail everyone their own copy if they want it. It's a really stubbornly persistent one because people continue to see scenes of it in movies and TV shows, where it's used for some big dramatic reveal. I've even had irate beneficiaries insist that the administration of the estate can't be official until there's a reading, way back, like 150 years ago or so. I believe we used to do something like that at times because you couldn't exactly presume literacy on the part of the beneficiaries. But now we feel it's a pretty safe bet that you can either read it or find someone who can. Disappointed there won't be a dramatic videotaped reading where Gramps confirms most of his estate will be left to his cat and his ungrateful heirs won't receive a penny. My great-uncle left a VHS stating that he hated everyone except my sister who was a baby at the time. I don't think he had much of anything to leave except this sentiment. Detox drinks. Used to work somewhere that sold juice cleanses. Your body does not need something to cleanse its liver and kidneys like that. Your liver and kidneys are the cleansers. If anything, you're just giving them a break by laying off alcohol and cheeseburgers. You only feel better cause for a couple days you're actually getting some vitamins into your system for once and aren't eating steaming piles of shit at every meal. It's not the presence of the juice, it's the absence of the other shit. The fruit juices portion are just sugary and tasty. Of course they feel good. Fish only have a 5-second memory. My fish are fed automatically on a timer and they know dinner time better than my goddamn cat. That's because the cat is busy daydreaming about eating your fishes. Our old cat loves tuna, saw the goldfish there, went and checked it out. Realized the water tasted like fish and he loved that, so he drank like half the water in the bowl, never touched the fish. We came home. The fish was fine, but swimming around in half the water and the cat sitting there like, what? I just drank out of the new water bowl you left me. He was special. It is believed in Indian culture that keeping your unibrow means good luck. I kept my unibrow for 20 years thinking it is my good luck, until I got stage 5 of kidney failure and I did my eyebrows after that because who gives a fuck about luck anymore. Now my eyebrows look cute AF. Indian culture, and I think most old cultures tbh have this thing where they take something that is usually seen as a negative in society and try to spin it as a good luck or fortune thing to make everyone accept it. Like massive foreheads mean intelligence. I can't think of others now. But there are plenty. I guess back in the day it helped those that would otherwise be ostracized or bullied get accepted. Tear here to open. I live in fear of tearing a check in half every time I have to fold it, crease then tear. Fold in both directions and tear slowly. Also remember that you have 2 attempts. If you start at one end and don't tear it properly, you can turn it around and start from the other end. You have to wait 48 hours to report someone missing. This one's downright harmful. I told my girlfriend this last week. For some strange reason she still believed the myth. Then painstakingly went through all of the steps that I would go through if I thought she was missing. All those steps would happen in far less than 12 hours of her not checking back in. It used to be a thing though. Most police departments made you wait 24 hours before filing a missing person report back in the days before cell phones. Back then, it was common to not be reachable for a few hours. Now, if someone isn't responding immediately when you know they should, it probably means something has gone terribly wrong. Police departments today let you file missing person reports immediately. Sadly, there are still incidents where officers will misinform people trying to make a report. It only comes out after the missing persons case has been picked up by local media and questions are asked. It's not as often as it once was, but there are officers who just don't feel like taking a report, and a shorter amount of time from the last point of contact motivates them to blow it off with little risk. Just a couple weeks ago my wife and I reported my missing MIL who has dementia to the police after she was missing for only 3 hours. It was just getting dark and was around 40 degrees with temps dropping. Honestly, I expected to be brushed off and not taken seriously. Instead, a full search and rescue was initiated rather quickly with a plane, drones, a K-9 unit and several dozen people on foot. Reporting on social media and a text sent to everyone in the area, and who knows what else, she was found several hours later, miles away, by a good Samaritan who called the police, and they were able to match up the description on our missing persons report. She'd crossed county lines by foot, but the counties were able to easily make the connection. So yeah, lesson learned, you don't have to wait. I felt silly for calling, but it made a big difference to getting her home safely. I was once driving down a small highway in the middle of nowhere, and saw an older man walking the shoulder in a way that seemed wrong. Kind of plodding while sort of bent over and his arms hanging loose. Couple miles later it occurred to me where I'd seen it before. A friend's granddad who had dementia walked like that. I pulled over and called 911 and was worried they'd tell me I was an idiot and shouldn't call 911 over frivolous stuff. But they immediately thanked me for calling and said they'd send a car right away. It just occurred to me, maybe someone had already reported the guy missing, and that's why they took it seriously. I was in a situation like this too, out for a walk, and ended up briefly chatting with a woman who was walking in the other direction. The whole conversation was off. It was a really weird encounter. She started the conversation by randomly asking me if I wanted to hear a joke. Anyway, as I walked on, I paused to turn around and see where she was going. That was when I realized she was barefoot. A few minutes later I realized there was a senior's residence a block away. I phoned them and asked them if they were missing someone, and described the woman and the joke she told me. The woman on the phone went into full panic mode, thanked me, and that was the last I heard of it.